Welcome, everyone, to the next edition of the Stay on Course podcast. Today, I have the most amazing guest, Amanda Thomson, and she's the CEO and founder of B Corp certified Noughty, a visionary leader revolutionizing the global beverage industry with premium alcohol-free wines that prioritize purity, taste, and quality. A former BBC arts broadcaster and the proud Le Cordon Bleu Paris album, Amanda blends her passion for fine wine with a mission to transform drinking culture, offering sophisticated, mindful alternatives for modern celebrations. Welcome, Amanda, to the Stay on Course podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing. So, before I get started, I ask all of my guests, what is your favorite food?
Mexican. I will eat anything and everything Mexican, albeit plant-based. I'm vegetarian. Yeah, I just go nuts for Mexican food. Oh, I mean, anything. Tex-Mex, real Mexican. I was lucky enough to visit once. Yeah, I mean, I could literally mainline guacamole.
Wow. And what do we pair it with from your wine selection?
Well, in the old days, I would have had a margarita. These days, I would probably go the Naughty Sparkling Chardonnay.
Hmm. Amanda, before we get into your ingredients for success, tell us a little bit about the business you created and maybe why you created it.
It was really simply, there was nothing for me to drink when I wasn't drinking. And what I mean by that is, like millions of wine drinkers, I stay in my lane. I did mention margaritas. I never really drank cocktails very much. I wasn't a hard liquor girl. And wine was my buzz, always good wine. And then I realized I would leave a dinner early because I might just have one glass, possibly two max, and then switch to water and go home. And it turned out there were millions of wine drinkers like me who stay in our lane and then leave celebrations and events early because we just switched to water because we don't want sugary soft drinks and we aren't necessarily beer drinkers, so we don't switch to non-alc beer. So it kind of struck me that why has no one made good non-alcoholic wine? Then I realized how hard it was.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's interesting. I'd love to hear about that process. So then you moved in from this moment. How long did it take you to start your business?
Well, I launched my first non-alcoholic wine in 2019. Prior to that, I'd had a champagne. And really, what led to that was my studies in wine, fine wine in Paris at Cordon Bleu. So I left my career in London behind, moved to Paris, threw myself into the fine wine business, and then originally worked with fine wine, specifically in champagne. But yeah, the first non-alcoholic bottle, 2019.
Oh my gosh. So today on the Stay on Course podcast, we're going to talk about reimagining wine, and we are going to lean into your ingredients for success that you tapped into to create this movement. So where do you want to get started? What is the first ingredient?
Well, I think we had an exploratory conversation, and I hadn't really realized intuition was so key for me, but you helped me realize it was. And we had a conversation about market research and what I suppose we call R&D, research and development. And it's not to say that I didn't do R&D, research and development, as in taste a lot of non-alcoholic wines. I did all of that. But in terms of intuition, didn't actually truthfully have all that data that confirmed my hypothesis that there were millions of wine drinkers like me who were staying in our lane and didn't have any non-alcoholic wine to drink. That data actually, truthfully, has come later. So what you helped me realize was, like a lot of founders, when we talk privately, we say one thing. When we're out in public, sometimes we might kind of shape the story, of course, to fit the media. And I realized how much I rely on intuition. I kind of knew that there were others like me. And now we've got that data to back it up. But I think, like a lot of founders, we really put ourselves out there before we've necessarily proved our hypothesis. And that's absolutely what I did. I would like to add to that, this wasn't just kind of blind romanticism. I guess as a journalist, you're always looking at trends, and I've always been about things that are happening in the future. There's a famous writer, Malcolm Gladwell, he's written about the tipping point. And I remember I was really early, too early, before the tipping point. I had a wine in can way back. And now, of course, ready to drink wine in can is all the rage. So I think you've got that moment with Zeitgeist, haven't you? And I guess I was early to non-alcoholic wine and really premiumizing it in 2019 because today every man and his dog seems to want to jump on the bandwagon. But actually, I would argue it was just the right time. So I guess you helped me to realize intuition is really strong for me.
Yeah. And I wonder if that intuition is kind of the purpose part of you that was speaking as well, like what your real core purpose was, and you just knowing that this was the next thing for you to do.
Well, there's vision, yeah. The vision for me, I hadn't realized that not everybody sees entrepreneurship like this. I kind of thought they did, and now I know they don't. So I am a visionary entrepreneur. I've realized on the journey in that I've always seen the macro. I always see it, it sounds like some kind of cartoon, but in my mind, I guess it's the arch or the rainbow. I've always seen it as something that I am climbing to in
Hmm.
a in quite a literal sense, with almost a ladder that I see. And I view entrepreneurship and my journey as you take a few steps up the rung of the ladder, and then you might fall down more rungs, and then you keep climbing up again. But the vision has never wavered. And see, for me, it's always like, how do you achieve that vision rather than the other way round? And I thought that that was how everybody saw it. And I've since realized they don't.
So that's one of the next ingredients is vision. And so that's super interesting. You've had a lot of ahas here.
Yeah, I think they say that being a founder and growing an entrepreneurial business is like an MBA on acid. That's kind of how I see it because I've never done a formal MBA, right? But yeah, you learn a lot about yourself on the journey. A hell
Yes.
of a lot. It's business therapy, right? I mean, constantly.
Well, I can tell you this. I have an MBA, and you learn way more by being an entrepreneur than you learn from getting an
Well,
MBA.
well, hang on. I'm definitely not down on MBAs formally. I'm sure one day I'd like to do one, but it's just I've done it, I guess, the other way round.
Well, and I think that what I tell people, because I did spend a couple years doing my master's in business, but I learned one thing. I learned one very powerful thing. And most entrepreneurs learn this as they're doing business,
Go
right?
on.
It's the one thing I learned is that you are not the expert in everything. And that if you find the right people to help you build your business, you will be successful. That's the lesson.
Thanks.
Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, did I learn about all the different disciplines? I know just enough about all the disciplines to get myself in trouble until I need to become the expert. So when you become an entrepreneur, a lot of the things that you do, you have to bootstrap. So I have found that having my own business, I've learned even more than getting an MBA. So
Interesting. Well,
I,
you're an interesting one then, having done both and doing that analysis. Okay, so you've signed up pretty hard to that. That's interesting, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, filling in the gaps of knowledge. Yeah, absolutely. I guess I was intuitive enough,
yeah,
self-aware enough to recognize that I was the visionary and I had an amazing palate. I was a good wine taster. Many other gaps I needed to fill in, like having an incredible CFO or, having an amazing financial director by my side. Because while I'm, of course, I understand basic numbers and need to know the number and understand, when I'm making profit and when I'm selling and when my business is successful. But I'm all about just tell me the numbers, which of course I need a genius by my side who's crunching numbers daily to make
yes.
sure that our numbers stay on track, for example.
Yeah, which is not much different than when you get an MBA. It really isn't. So you're doing it. And I think the other piece to this, I'm just going to throw this in there, is now reading books is another interesting way to learn information because there are so many things to learn as an entrepreneur. And one of the things that I think that most entrepreneurs need to spend time in is sales and marketing, really understand that part, how to do it, how to close and things like that. But we have different businesses. I have a service-based business, so it's a little bit different. But I think that it is an education. You've gotten this amazing education, and through the process, what other ingredient do you want to talk about that helped you get through this?
Well, I think curiosity can be hugely underrated in life. And I think that so often we're taught that the more we know and the smarter we are, the less we have to ask the questions and the more we're the ones answering them. I would argue the opposite is true. And I feel like I always am comfortable when there's juniors in the room being the one asking what that acronym is, or like every single industry has these kind of codes and acronyms, and business is no different, right?
Yes.
And it's like, well, what does it actually mean? What does it stand for? Tell me what a cap table is. Explain things. I think entrepreneurship has so much jargon. And I think that just being the one asking the questions, and I guess it takes me back. Was I a journalist because I asked questions, or did I ask questions which made me a good journalist? Chicken and egg. Apparently, I came out of the womb asking a gazillion questions, which obviously is not easy to parent. But I came into the world with an obsessional curiosity for learning. And just to be clear, I'm a Gemini. I'm not hugely into star signs, but it suits entrepreneurship, which is like you want to know just enough about something. And as a journalist, I was in the art space, right? So I wasn't specializing just in fine art or modern art or fashion or music. So you become a magpie. It's that constant curiosity just to learn about what's in front of you every day,
Yes.
and I think that drives me forward every day. Whoever I'm meeting, I want to know about and learn about. And it's quite strange now, Julie, because I was always the one asking the questions, drawing out the information and learning about people. And now, of course, I have to talk about myself. And I always like to be the one actually asking the questions.
Oh, yeah. But it is that childlike curiosity that keeps us alive and keeps us in a state of flow. And I tell small business entrepreneurs and people doing business, like our energy matters. The way you show up and the level of curiosity that you have with people creates connection. It really
It's so
does.
true. And you've touched on something that I tell my team every day. And I think it's a new thing for junior members of staff because there's obviously a huge focus in the world on authenticity, which I absolutely believe in. But I also think it's important that when people are coming into the business world, our kids and, learning about the world, they realize that I could be having the worst day ever before I've come onto this podcast, couldn't I?
Yes.
So if I'd come on looking a bit depressed and looking like I was upset and not ready to go and not 5 minutes early and all of those things, what message would I be giving you? You as a person, importantly, because I've got an interaction with you, absolutely how I'm presenting myself on a podcast. But I always just say that, I think it's really important not to confuse authenticity for a recognition that how we show up will affect others, and some degree of, I suppose it is acting, right? For people is required to make sure you show up in the way that is respectful and appropriate for the other person. And
Yeah.
that's quite an interesting thing to dig into in the modern business world when it comes to generations.
Yeah, I think it's really important for us to mind our energy because that stuff is transferable. And as business owners, I think we are much more sensitive to this because we understand that there is a flow of money that is happening that we're responsible for, in a sense, in what we do. When we work for companies, we're just getting a paycheck. So you can show up in a bad mood every day, and that paycheck is still coming, but your energy has to do with the amount of money that you're able to make because that you're having an exchange with other people and you're the one in charge. So it's a lot of
Absolutely.
pressure, isn't it? A lot of pressure in a way.
It really is. But I also think it's nice pressure in the sense that I get so much back from people. I feel like when I put good stuff out, it always comes back. And I don't know about you. I'm not religious. I'm open-minded, spiritual, like to understand religion. But I do believe in karma. And and I just think if I meet someone and I enjoy the conversation, I'll remember them, they'll remember me. We both put good in the world. I don't know if this sounds kind of a bit, Disney, but I do believe that it all comes round.
Yeah. Yeah. Amanda, what are you working on right now? What's your next big thing?
So I'm always trying to innovate and push forward on the quality, really. We were said that we'd raised the game when it came to non-alcoholic wine, and I was just I've been back to Cordon Bleu to do the world's first kind of crazy world's first non-alcoholic wine masterclass for them, which I cannot tell you was one of the biggest honors in my life. If not
Wow.
it might even have been the biggest honor, maybe. And so I'm just trying to push quality. I say just trying to push quality. I always tell other business people never say to me just. Women particularly say that, don't they? I am trying to really push quality even harder. Yeah. So to see how good I can get the next iteration of my own non-alcoholic wine. I'm trying to raise my own game.
Okay. All right. I have a couple more questions. First, I want to know where can our audience find out more about you?
Sure. So we've got our website and also all over social. It's Noughty AF, and that's naughty with an O. It's a play on words. It's a play on mischief because obviously I wanted it to be fun, not depressing. It's delicious non-alcoholic wine, but it still needs to be fun. And also in the UK, in Britain, we use naught for zero. So you've got that kind of double play on words. But
I
I love the
love that.
way that my American friends say naughty. Go on, say it for me, Julie.
Naughty.
I love that.
All right. So if we go to the website and we're a novice to your products, what are we trying first? What should we try?
So naughtyaf.com, and that's with an O. I mean, really, we've only got at the moment 5 wines. So you've got 2 sparklings, a brut and a sparkling rosé like champagne, and then 3 stills, a red, a white, and a still Provence style rosé. So I would just say, whatever is your wine buzz, try that equivalent bottle first. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. And
I
it's
guess holiday season, might want some bubbles into the new year. Our white is a lovely bottle to have in the fridge to replace the ritual every single evening. Nice glass of my naughty blanc. No hangover, no chemicals, good for you, low calorie, just to kind of replace that ritual.
yeah, I love it. I love it. And especially as you get older, I don't need to be having a headache the next day. And most wines give me headaches. So I am going to get some of those bottles and I'll let you know how I like them. I'm so excited.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Amanda, so much for being a guest today on the Sam Course podcast.
Oh, the pleasure's been mine. Thank you so much.